Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show we've got a review for Ride of Happiness, which is located at Plopsaland de la Pranen, just south slightly of Bruges in Belgium. Now this is a ride I was extremely excited to go on. I'd heard lots of really good things about it. The POV looked great, and I will be honest, it took us a little bit of time to find it in the park because we seemed to go the long way around for it, but regardless, yeah, this ride really lived up to those expectations. It is a fantastic little coaster. So for those who don't know, it is a Mack Extreme Spinner, which effectively means it's a spinning coaster, so your seats rotate round as you go along the track. However, it's not a standard one. It goes upside down, it has launches, has some really crazy banked angles, has some really steep drops, and effectively it just takes a spinning coaster and just makes it extreme effectively. And oh boy, does it deliver. And I think what it does really well is it delivers it in a kind of smooth but also intense sort of manner. So it's very rideable, but it does kind of wear you down a little bit, which is maybe a slight downside, but then again, it is a lot of fun. So the theme around this ride is effectively around a music festival, and so there's lots of bright colours, lots of lights. It's quite an open queue line. Yeah, it is quite well themed and very immersive, and it's very picturesque and pretty to land around it. And I just generally think it's sort of ride which just brings a smile to your face before you've even got on it. So there was a small issue with the queue line, and it really irritates me, where effectively there's like a little bit of the queue line which effectively you go out of one building and effectively the queue line kind of loops all the way around. However, you can actually just step over it and meet it where it goes back up to this second building. Why on earth there isn't a slight footpath and something to just like a little gate to open and close? No idea, because I have not ever seen anyone not jump over that in any POVs or watched or anything like that. Maybe on really busy days, absolutely fine, but everyone just uses that shortcut at the moment. I will say the station theming and music was brilliant. I also will say that the queue was non-existent for it. It was a really quiet day, so we managed to get front row, back row, in the middle, stuff like that. Nice mix all over the train, really. Sitting forwards and backwards as well. I will say, I love the start of this ride. You effectively leave the station and then effectively go into an inversion straight away. I believe it's a JoJo roll, it's the sort of name of it, but it might be something technically a little bit different, but it's that sort of design. And you roll over that, you get some lovely hang time as you're there. Just, yeah, it's a really cool way of just introducing the ride. And then from there, you stop, launch. You can actually launch in pretty much any seat configuration. You can be sideways, backwards, forwards, the lot. The going up the drop, it actually can be really, really good fun. You sometimes do get like lifted out your seat. Actually, also the ride banks slightly outwards, going around the top. Very difficult to notice some of the time, unless you happen to be facing that way, which sounds so weird normally, but yeah, if your car happens to be facing it, it's very noticeable. If it isn't, it's very difficult to tell. The drop off this, like the high point after the launch, that is one of my favourite moments, and it's a favourite moment if you're sitting in the back row facing backwards, because you get absolutely launched out your seat, and it's such good fun. Like really, really good fun. Really, like, yeah, one of the best moments on the entire ride if you happen to be in the right position. You then drop down and go into like a really cool little turnaround. This is possibly one of the only really weak moments of the ride, and even then it's not bad. It just doesn't really offer any sort of like hang time or airtime or anything like that. It's just, you know, obviously they have to turn the train around somehow, and it still works. It's you know, it's a good element. It's just, you know, that some of the other bits on this ride are ridiculous. Anyway, you go past that, you turn back around, and you go through the vertical loop. Now, just a classic element. I will say the novelty of going through it sideways or something like that is really cool. But yeah, well, yeah, classic. Yeah, it's a standard, you know, roller coaster trope. So we'll go with that. There is then effectively a corkscrew, barrel roll, sort of twist element. That can actually be a lot of fun if you're in the right position. If you have, because you can end up just effectively just getting flipped over anytime that sort of sensation happens, because it's just something you don't really normally experience on a roller coaster. That's brilliant stuff. And then you have a little, like, just, you know, nice little turn to go into the second launch. And I will say, on the first ride, I ended up, for some reason, just in the most absolutely perfect position. I think I was facing backwards, and I got literally full on, yeeted out my seat as it like just turned over, and we went down that small drop or anything like that. Unbelievable, completely unexpected. I thought it would just be pretty like generic and stuff like that. Unbelievable. And then you go into the second launch, which is a rolling one, so you're already moving. Go up. There's a little bit of airtime, and then you just go through this crazy sort of like double twist high up off the ground. And again, it's like you can actually have it where again it feels like you kind of like flip it over, and it's such a weird sensation. It's brilliant, but really weird. Anyway, you drop down after that, and effectively just go for a nice like sweeping turn, and then eventually you go up into like a double airtime hill to finish the ride, which does offer some really good airtime moments as well. And overall, this ride it just puts a massive smile on your face. I will say, and I think this you may have noticed, where if you're in the right place for certain elements, they can become absolutely exceptional. And I will be honest, I think there is probably a way of riding this coaster where if your train is in a particular position, it will elevate it exponentially. Now, I will say it could be in the worst position, and I still think this ride would be really good fun, because it still does offer a lot of forces, a lot of airtime, a lot of hang time, and a lot of intensity. And it offers them all in spades while being smooth, with onboard audio, with a comfortable restraint system, and stuff like that, and just with really picturesque, comfortable views and everything like that. So I will be honest, but there was always that sort of element where you could potentially have an absolutely outrageous ride on this coaster. You could potentially, as I say, you could be going backwards down the first main drop. You could be in the perfect position for like the double roll after the second launch. I say you could be on where I was for that little simple turnaround slight drop thing before the second launch, where I just got absolutely sent from my seat. Overall, really impressed. Well worth going to. Absolute cracking little coaster. Probably, maybe within my top 25, potentially, if I was to really think about it, maybe in the top 20. I'm not sure though. It kind of falls in that sort of thing. A really good ride, very, very rideable. I would highly recommend if you're in Belgium, go to Plopsaland, ride it. You won't regret it. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more content.